Hello, welcome to a new video of Dynasty 1. Today we are not only going to talk about Huang Zhong's skill and awakening skill because we talked about that already. In this comparison video, I'm going to compare 4 different heroes which actually are very similar, and they are because all 4 of them are archer hero. And there is only 4 7-star archer hero in this game currently, so it's easier for me to compare them. And why would I want to compare 4 archer hero? They literally have nothing in common, and that's the best thing, because if they have their own specialty and their strengths, maybe it is possible that you can use all 4 of these archer hero. Now I do in one of my account have all 4 of them. Not all of them have their partnerships or destiny satisfied, so they are pretty weak. And in fact, in my main account, my Huang Zhong is not awakened, so it's really impossible to use him. But let's just talk about how possible this is and what strength do they have in this combination. So the second will be heroine, and then the third one will actually be Shooter Taishi, which has a transcend right now. And the last archer hero that was added in this game was Lady, and pretty strong, one of the 777, so probably is the strongest archer hero. Arguably, because heroine is still a lot of people's favorite, but we all know what their skill does. I have made a video about all of them before, about their main skill and their awakening skill, and currently one out of the 4 here can be transcended, and that's Shooter Taishi. I don't think we need to talk about transcending yet, so I'm not going to talk about transcending yet. So this combination may be very helpful if you use a lot of archers, because you can take advantage of heroine's skill. Maybe if you have really strong archers, you have treasure for your archers. You have both treasure for your archers and your archer hero. So that's very important, because they can get a big buff from that, and maybe all your hero seals are the archer type and you get some really nice seals, and then that's a possibility. That might be pretty fun to have just all archers destroying a base. I don't know how possible it is, and I don't have the equipment and the tools to try that out. But let's talk about it and see, maybe one day I could try that out, or maybe you guys who have it have really nice these 4 heroes and treasures. You guys can try it out too. But let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, so right here I listed some of the basic stats for 4 heroes. These are the stats for level 60, so obviously Shooter Taishi can go up higher if you look at the gallery, because that's a level 70. But currently, only Taishi has the level 70, so I used the level 60 so that we can compare. Now, as you can see, Huang Zhong is much weaker compared to the other 3. Obviously, for one reason is Huang Zhong is a common 7-star, but I still think he needs a little buff. Way less HP, even lower HP than Shooter Taishi by like 60. And DPS is lower by 15. And Lady, obviously, with an exceptionally high HP and DPS compared to the other archer hero. At least 150, around 150 HP higher than heroine, and 10 extra DPS more than heroine and Taishi together. Well, not together, because heroine and Taishi have the same amount of DPS. So obviously, a Lady is a 737 amulet hero, costs way more and much more expensive. And I believe this is the order they released. Huang Zhong is probably the first archer hero, and then heroine, and then Taishi, and then Lady, because when I start playing there are only 2, and then they added Taishi and they added Lady. So now the skill type, which is, I guess not a skill type, but their skill set, Huang Zhong and heroine are active, you use it once. Both Shooter Taishi and Lady are passive, so they tend to be stronger. So there is a trend that the skill, that the new hero obviously becomes more and more stronger as they create newer heroes. And cooldown, we all know Shooter Taishi is 8 seconds, Lady is 12 seconds. Now the skill type, what they do is also very important. Huang Zhong just does a flat damage, and then that's it. Heroine is a buff to herself and other troops as well. And this is probably the only reason why she is still very strong, and that's why a lot of people still like her. Because if she cannot, let's put it this way, if there's a new hero that also does buffing, then no one cares about heroine. because she becomes useless. And Taishi summons. He summons stealth units every 8 seconds that can do damage. And also, it could kind of tank as well, but it's not very important. Mostly, it's just for the damage and the fast cooldown, which is a lower time. Lady is another high damage. By comparing Lady to Huang Zhong, the difference is one is a passive, one is an active. And ladies, since it's a passive, she has a target. And Huang Zhong's target is whenever you use a skill. So lady will also focus on hero, and Huang Zhong focuses on your target. So at 15 out of 15, what does one of their skill do? How much damage can they do? Now Huang Zhong's damage is 2,300 something. So 2,327. So if you multiply that by 6, which he released 6 arrow, this is the amount of damage. But this is not guaranteed because each of this arrow is not guaranteed to hit anything. And each arrow can hit more than one target. So this number it's not really that solid because it could change. You can hit nothing, you can hit more than 6 targets, and this damage can be much higher. But remember, each individual is only 2,300 damage. The next thing is obviously heroine's buff. This is 2,800 attack speed to herself and 140% attack damage to archers, bow cavalry, and giant guards. She also does increase 70% range for herself at 10 out of 10 already. So at 15 out of 15, I'm not going to include that. The buff only goes up to 280% attack speed and 140% damage for the troops. And then Shooter Taishi. Every 8 seconds, he releases a stealth unit that does 7,692 total damage because the DPS for one of those stealth units is 641 for 12 seconds. This will be 7,692 total damage. And in a single battle, since Shooter Taishi's cooldown is only 8 seconds, it is obviously he can do way more damage, and because his stealth unit targets different items, different buildings, different units. Out of all the heroes here, he is most likely the one that can completely uses his skill. What that means is Huang Zhongyu may waste his skill. Heroine, she might spend some time walking, and she might buff troops that are not doing much. But it's difficult to compare them because heroine is a buff, while Huang Zhong, Taishi, and Lady do damage. So that's more important. Obviously, Lady, her skill also targets stuff, so it's almost always guaranteed that she will do damage, and she will do at least 7,500 damage. However, she will sometimes hit nothing because there is not enough units or things in her range, and then she'll waste some of the arrow. But obviously, same thing goes to Taishi. His stealth unit does have a range limit, and they cannot attack anything if there's nothing in there. They will attack walls if there's no other units or buildings within their range. So this damage is 1,501 damage for 5 arrows. So this is a total of 7,500. However, this is just a lower limit because her awakening skill does do more damage to heroes only. So if she attacks hero, which her skill does prioritize, meaning if there is hero within her range, she will do this amount of damage plus 25% of whatever the hero's maximum HP. So she is possibly have a higher damage. However, if we think about the per arrow attack, the per arrow damage, it's only 1,500 compared to Huang Zhong's 2,300. It's much lower. Then why would a lady be much more stronger? The first thing is because she does lock on to 5 things. Well, technically she locked on to 1. After that one attack, like one locked on, no matter if it's a hero or other building, after that the 4 other hero will lock on and choose their target from the first target. So it's kind of confusing. So what basically, she doesn't target 5 different units. She target 1 unit, and after the first arrow hits, then the system will calculate 4 random units close to the first unit that she hits. And what that means is it's always guaranteed damage to at least something, while Huang Zhong will not guarantee the damage because you could waste and hit nothing. And if it is a hero, then Lady is for sure guaranteed to do more damage than 2300 because 1500 plus 25% of the hero's maximum HP is definitely going to be more than 2300. So, and the other thing is, Lady is on a passive skills. So if Lady can use her skill twice, it's probably better than Huang Zhong's skill already. And that is why Lady is much more stronger overall. Obviously, Huang Zhong has his own use as well. But again, a very old hero, not Huang Zhong being an old person, but as a hero that has been released for a long time, it tends to not catch up on the current stuff, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But their priority, Huang Zhong prioritized the target that he is aiming at. And one important thing is people sometimes mess up on Huang Zhong is although when you release a hero or release any troops, they have their target marker. That only applies if your hero or troop can walk there and auto attack it. If it is out of range because of the walls or anything, your hero or troop will attack the wall. So in that case, if Huang Zhong cannot reach the target by walking over and auto-attacking it, that means he will attack. That means his current target is actually a piece of wall that is stopping him. So when you use the skill like that, the skill actually target the wall instead of the actual object. Heroine doesn't have a priority. Taishi does prioritize. His skill doesn't prioritize. His skill is just his target. However, the stealth unit does prioritize heroes and then troops. I guess hero or troops, and then anything else. The stealth unit does not target defensive building or any other building. It's just any building. First is hero, troops, and then any buildings. A Lady do prioritize hero and then defensive structures. So as you can see, there is a big difference, and that's why the Lady is so much more stronger. Now, what their awakening skill does, Huang Zhong gets DPS, not damage for his skill, but DPS for himself. Very meaningful if only played a certain way. And I've talked about that in the video I talk about him, but not very useful most of the time. I don't think people awaken him for his awakening skill. People awaken him for his extra damage for his 5 extra level. So not really that useful. Heroine's awakening skill extremely powerful, extremely good deal because you get I think in total 6 more seconds or 7 more seconds, I don't remember, but a lot of extra time to be in this very powerful state for herself and other troops as well. Should Taishi give him healing after each stealth unit is dead or disappear, give him a lot of sustainability, because now if he doesn't die, he can survive and continue to heal himself and continue to destroy more stuff, because he is a hero that can clear out a lot of buildings. And it'll be better if he has treasure or seal to give him more HP, because the heal is a percentage of his maximum HP. Lady obviously give herself more damage to hero, especially 25% maximum HP of enemy hero. So with this, she can kill a hero very, very fast. So let's talk about the range of their skill. Huang Zhong's range is very far, as I talked about it earlier. As long as he can walk over there and auto attack, then you can use his skill and attack the things that he is targeting. Heroine, her own range becomes 8.5 tiles, and then her buff affects the entire map. So the 140% attack damage for the troops apply to every single troops on the map, not just around her. So it's a very, very strong buff if you use a lot of archers and bow cavalries. Shooter Taishi, there is a limit to how far his stealth unit can travel. I would say probably around 10 tile, and then there is another range for the stealth unit, which is not as far as 10 unit, probably like 7 or 8 unit. With the transcending, obviously that could extend a little bit more. And Lady's range is also probably close to 10 tile. So within 10 tile, if there is a hero, she will target the hero and hit the hero. If not, then she'll prioritize the defensive structure. And usually this is she targets the closest thing, okay, that is within the range. And then we will talk about, so what are they for? Because in the beginning I said Is it possible that we can use all four of these together? And I believe you could. Might be very difficult because they do have their own specialty. Huang Zhong's specialty is a regional damage, possibly 14,000 damage at the same region. However, it's a very low damage per hit, so they have to be tightly packed for Huang Zhong's skill to make it useful. If not, he would just become a very good hero to clear out a space so that you can direct your troops easier. Heroine specialty is the buff for the troops and single targeted damage, extremely high damage for single target, because with the 8.5 range and 280% attack speed, she can destroy most hero relatively quickly. The only problem is crazy Juju. So yeah. So Shooter Taishi, what is his specialty? Sustainability, because he can heal himself. Clearing out bases, because his stealth units does have a pretty big range that does not rely on him to go out into doing a lot of things. He could be anywhere and his stealth units can do something, because his stealth unit does not represent his location. His stealth unit is going to come out far and do dirt damage to things that Shooter Taishi himself cannot reach. So Lady obviously gives the utility of freezing and also damage to multiple targets, which is again very important, high damage. Now the only thing that I see is they might not be able to kill hero because they don't have hero killing power. They are really for clearing out space, clearing out the pole base, especially for Taishi and Lady. Huang Zhong is very weak because of the very low damage. So let's take a look at treasure. What do we need in treasure? Obviously, if you have the 25% HP, this will be their HP. If you have the 25% attack speed, 36% attack damage, and the new DPS will look like this. And you can also lifesteal with 16%. Basic numbers that you can take. Obviously, I would think the most important one is obviously HP and attack speed. Maybe lifesteal. Lifesteal is only important for heroine because she can attack really fast. So this number for her is not correct because, well, I shouldn't say not correct. This is correct when she's not using her skill. Once she uses her skill, she attacks much faster, and her DPS is much higher. So this number actually becomes bigger as well, and she heals more often as well. Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated to do, but their own attack damage they can increase by 36%. Again, it's not useful for anyone except heroine. Honestly, heroine is only hero that needed the attack speed, attack damage, and the lifesteal. But any other one, they need more HP, and that's it. So, again, Shooter Taishi and Lady, they could, since they're passive hero, they can use the rage. So Shooter Taishi only needs 8 seconds and Lady needs 10 seconds. But again, this is only useful for the initiation. The first time you put them down, they can use their skill. It is still very useful. You have an early start. So, but for Huang Zhong and Heroine, you don't need these. But seal, what do they need? So there is a seal for skill damage, and that could be very useful for Huang Zhong because Huang Zhong does have a pretty high base damage compared to Lady. He started at 2300, so with the 30%, it could be 3000 per hit. It's a little bit more useful, but again, even with 3000 damage, you can't destroy much buildings. You can destroy a lot of crappy buildings, but if you're at a higher level, most buildings have 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 HP if we're talking about the magic crossbow. So 3000 damage is not really enough. Heroine and Taishi does not affect them. Lady can go up to 1900, but again, the extra skill damage from Hero Seal does apply to the Awakening skill, so she can do way more damage to Hero with this seal. But Huang Zhong, again, 3000 damage, it's not really useful because I think the level 3 Purgatory Tower has 2800, so the level 4 Purgatory Tower probably has over 3000 damage. So one arrow cannot even take out a Purgatory Tower without treasure. It cannot take out an Ice Chamber. Cannot take out Thunder Formation. I don't think it can even take out an Archer Tower or even Alchemist Tower. I'm not sure. And the other thing is, yeah, it is possible that multiple arrow can hit the same target. But the higher HP buildings or hero, they have very small tile in terms of their hitbox. Yeah, hitbox is very small. Hero hitbox is one tile. All the different towers is 2x2, so it's very difficult to hit two arrow on them. The easiest is obviously the headquarter. People usually used to use Huang Zhong, Guojia, and other heroes have similar skill to take out the headquarter from far away, because as long as they targeted things that are close to it, they can just use their skill, and multiple skill hits it multiple times, they can take out the headquarter. But headquarter right now is a lot of HP, close to 10,000. If you have a Huang Zhong that does 3,000, that's possible because you only need 2 hits. That will become 6,000 damage. There's 4,000 more damage that needs to be taken care of by our 3 other hero. Might be able to do it, but 3,000 damage per hit on any other building is very small. Even Lu Bu's 4,000 damage, it's not enough to take out hero or Purgatory Tower or the Ice Chamber. So he is very weak. another CO attribute they can use is the Rage before they die. Taishi again 8 seconds, he can use his skill. Lady 10 seconds, then she will need 2 more seconds to use her skill. So, but the maximum you can get is only 10 seconds. And then attack speed, I think I talked about the same thing in Huang Zhong's video. When he is in his awakening state, which is, I believe, after he uses skill, the next 10 seconds, he has like 100% attack damage buff to his auto attack. So maybe when he's about to die, you use his skill, then for the next 10 seconds, he can have a 100% increase in damage and possibly 100% increase in attack speed. Then he could finish whatever is attacking him, because that could be significant too, because he can have 666 attack, and then if you give him 100%, that means 1300, and then if you give him a 100% attack speed, that will be 2600 DPS. Given that if he can last for 10 seconds, he can do a lot of damage within that time, because you basically multiply his DPS by 4 times, 100 and then 100%. But that's what it sounds like. I'm not sure. But Heroine, I don't know, it might stack. That might stack with her own skill, 280% plus 100%. If it does stack, she will be able to withstand the Ice Chamber for as long as the Ice Chamber does not freezes her. Because other than that, why would you need such a high DPS? She already does enough DPS. She can destroy most things, especially when she can lifesteal. She can destroy everything. The only problem is the Frost Chamber slowing her and then freezing her. So with that, if this does stack, then she might be able to help herself out from Ice Chamber. But the summon attribute and the rejuvenation attribute can be useful for Shi Taishi. I find that the summon attribute might be more useful bumping the DPS from 641 to 833, much higher damage, close to 10,000 damage per stealth unit. Since that's the only way Taishi does damage, this is very important. Also, it gives the stealth unit more HP as well, but I think the damage is more important. Rejuvenation, 30% from the 30% extra healing. His awakening skill does 20% of his maximum HP. So let's say you have the treasure, then his maximum HP is 4,000. So the 20% would be like around 800 plus 30%. It would be close to 1,000 HP. So you're basically healing about a quarter of his HP per stealth unit is destroyed. 20% to 25% is only 5% increase. I don't think that's very useful, because if your Shooter Taishi is getting attacked, most likely he won't be able to help himself. It's really for like long-term sustainability. So back to the main question, we all see they have different uses. They are not really used. They're not really good for comparing each other because they don't have any similarity, and that's the thing. Can we really use all 4 of these together? I think it's possible if they buff Huang Zhong a little bit. Especially with the new Transcending. I'm really looking forward to the Transcending for Huang Zhong and Transcending for Lady, because that could change them by a lot. Now, Lady, the Transcending is probably going to be very powerful. We see what they did with Machinist, which is another 777, yeah. Lady might be able to get much higher damage or much faster skill, much more protection. That might be able to help them out in this combination. Huang Zhong really needs a big buff into Transcending. If their Transcending can make him much more useful in terms of, honestly, what he needs is just more damage. More damage to building, more damage to anything. Maybe a bigger area damage or something that doesn't just buff himself, because buffing his own DPS is really bad. Maybe buffing himself, extending the time of the buff, and giving him extra range like Heroine, then that seems possible. But right now he's very weak. Heroine, I don't know. I don't think they will give Heroine Transcending very soon. I think they will wait till the last, because Heroine right now, even though she is a very old hero, she is still very useful because of this 8.5 range and this high buff for all the other troops on the map. So her Transcend will make her even better. So logically, they will not give her a very strong Transcend skill, because that will make her way too overpowered. So we'll see what they will do. Probably they can just go the lazy way and just be like, oh, give her a couple more seconds. give her a couple more attack speed and more damage to the other troops. Something like that, which is, bad for her, but she's already very strong. So Huang Zhong needs a big buff in order for this to work. With Taishi's current Transcend, I think it's possible, because you can have him diverse and the two extra stealth units can do more damage, and the extra range can help him start off the battle easier. But as you can see currently right here, what's missing is hero killing power and tanking. So if you have good tanking troops, you can use those troops with these 4 heroes, because as long as they can tank, Lady can take out hero, and if the hero come out, Heroine can take them out. So what does Huang Zhong do? Honestly, nothing. Just do some damage. Do some damage to the central area, and I don't know, something else. If there is something else that could give that could do some damage to more buildings, maybe that's why you use Dragon Guard. The poking power with the range, maybe they can do some damage to the buildings behind it, and with Huang Zhong's skill, maybe that will be enough. I want to try this, but my Huang Zhong in this account, well, in this combination, is not awakened, does not have the damage partnership. It's going to be very weak. And I don't have the golden treasure for Archer Hero. My Archer troops are very bad. But I'll try to see if this will work. If you guys ever try it out and see if this could work, it sounds like a good idea. Maybe not a good idea, but for Archer Hero, this could be the next meta. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.